looking everywhere, that's how the story goes. Grab your gear, hold on tight. It's a wild ride ahead in the zombie story zone.
Welcome to Zombie Story Zone, where the dead don't just rise, they remember. In this haunting thriller, a group of 10 university students, full of curiosity and energy, sets off with their graceful and mysterious group leader, Professor Aveline, to explore a beautiful and remote valley hidden deep in the mountains. Surrounded by breathtaking waterfalls, whispering forests, and lakes that seem untouched by time, the valley feels like paradise. But paradise has its price. The group is warmly welcomed by a gentle middle-aged woman and her strange but stunning daughters in a rest house built between beauty and something buried. What begins as a peaceful getaway quickly descends into a chilling nightmare. An ancient castle, too clean to be abandoned. A cemetery where no birds sing. A girl's sketches predicting blood and death, and whispers from the earth itself. As one by one the students unravel dark secrets, they'll come face to face with a cursed queen who should never have been awakened. But the true horror? It's not just what's under the ground. It's what's already inside them. Subscribe now and prepare for mystery, terror, and a tale that proves some places were never meant to be found.
It's a crazy mix.
The sun had begun to dip behind the sky-high mountains when the 12 travelers reached the final bend of the valley trail. A soft wind whispered through the pines, carrying the scent of moss, blossoms, and ancient soil. As the treetops parted, the sight before them made everyone stop in awe. A lush valley unfolded, hugged by glistening cliffs and alpine peaks. Golden meadows flowed into dense emerald forests, shimmering lakes scattered like mirrors on the land. At the valley's heart stood a majestic wooden rest house, built in a classical style with elegant balconies, curved stone stairways, and lanterns swinging in the breeze. Creepers curled up its pillars, flowering vines danced on the rooftops. It was like stepping into a forgotten dream. Professor Aveline Ross, a poised woman in her mid-30s with long chestnut hair, gentle gray eyes, and a calming voice, took a deep breath and smiled. "Welcome to Valoria's Hollow," she said softly. Behind her trailed the 10 university students, 5 boys, 5 girls, buzzing with excitement after their 3-day journey. Nora, tall, confident, with striking amber eyes and long black hair tied in a braid. Maya, dreamy and romantic, with soft features and glossy brown curls. Lara, quiet and artistic, her icy blue eyes always scanning the world. Tasha, bold and playful, with sun-kissed skin and a smirk always ready. Isla, bookish, curvy, with a warm smile and clever tongue. Among the boys were Ethan, charming and easygoing, a natural leader. Liam, soft-spoken but sharp-minded, fascinated by ancient cultures. Kevin, tall, cocky and brave, with a secret soft side. Jared, geeky, kind-hearted, and the group's tech expert. Zane, the athlete of the group, practical and rugged. As they approached the house, the front door opened. Out stepped Lady Elira, a regal woman in her late 40s. Her long silver-black hair was tied in a loose bun, and she wore a flowing silk gown in forest green. Her smile was serene and motherly. Beside her stood her husband, Lord Dorian, tall and well-built with a warm handshake and kind brown eyes. "Welcome, travelers," Elira said, her voice melodic. "Our home is yours for as long as you wish to stay. Valoria rarely gets guests." The group exchanged surprised glances. It was rare to find such hospitality in a place so remote. Then came her daughters. First was Valina, 21, breathtakingly beautiful with bronze skin, stormy green eyes, and long black hair cascading like ink. She walked with confident grace, her floral skirt swaying at her hips. Her smile was bold, and her eyes sparkled with mischief. Trailing behind her was Serene, only 17, innocent but stunning in her own right. Her golden blonde waves danced in the wind, and her pale blue eyes were full of wonder. She wore a short white dress, her laughter light and teasing. "And these are my nieces," Elira said with a wave, as 2 more young women descended the stairs. Ria, 22, with fiery red curls, pale skin dotted with freckles, and hypnotic violet eyes. She moved like she belonged on a stage, her voice velvety. Kalina, 20, Tall and curvy, with dusky brown skin, jet black straight hair, and deep-set hazel eyes that seem to read your thoughts. "They're here for the summer," Alira added. "You'll have company for the bonfires, I promise." Everyone laughed, enchanted by the warm welcome and the stunning company. Valina was already teasing Kevin about his dusty shirt. Serene had run over to Maya to admire her necklace. Rhea winked at Ethan. Kalina offered Zane a cool drink with a sly smile. Later, they were shown to their rooms, each nestled under wooden beams, decorated with vintage paintings, clean sheets, flower pots, and sunlit balconies. At twilight, they gathered in the garden behind the house, where benches circled a stone fire pit. The flames crackled gently as Alira served honey-glazed bread, fruit wine, and roasted venison. The girls sang soft local songs, Rhea danced barefoot in the grass, and Valina flirted mercilessly with Liam and Jared. Tasha dared Kevin to jump into the icy stream nearby, and he actually did, to everyone's roaring laughter. Aveline sipped her tea in silence, watching the moon rise over the mountains. She felt something strange, a pull, like a forgotten memory resurfacing. She blinked and looked around. Everyone else was caught in laughter, in music, in wonder. But somewhere deep in the valley's woods, a raven croaked, and Aveline could swear she saw a light flicker in the distant, dark ridge far beyond the trees. The next morning began with golden sunlight spilling through lace-curtained windows and the sweet scent of wildflowers on the breeze. Birds chirped like tiny bells outside, and somewhere, water splashed softly down mossy stones. Nora stretched on her balcony, letting the breeze touzle her hair. "This place is unreal," she murmured. Maya twirled below in the meadow, her white scarf fluttering. "It's heaven. I'm not going back." After breakfast in the garden, fresh berries, local bread, sweet milk, and honey, the group split up for exploration. Valina led Ethan, Liam, and Tasha to the Lake of Glass, a still, perfect body of water that reflected the sky so clearly it looked like a second heaven. They stripped to their swimwear and plunged in with squeals and splashes. Valina floated lazily, water glistening on her skin, casting teasing glances at both Ethan and Liam. "I told you this valley has magic," she whispered to them. "You'll see soon enough." Meanwhile, Serene guided Lara, Maya, Zane, and Isla through a flower-covered hill trail. She skipped ahead, her laughter echoing through the trees. "Look, the butterflies here follow your heartbeat." It wasn't a lie. As Maya held out her palm, two delicate creatures landed on her fingertips and stayed there, wings pulsing gently. They passed a small shrine built from polished white stone. Kalina was already there, arranging wild roses around it. "Locals say this is the altar of the first queen," she said softly. "She ruled the hollow with grace until her heart was broken." Isla, ever the curious one, leaned forward. "What happened to her?" "No one knows," Kalina said. "But they say her spirit still wanders when the moon turns red." That afternoon, the group reunited by the Willow River, where Jared flew his drone to capture aerial shots. The girls posed under waterfalls, Rhea and Tasha danced barefoot in the shallows, while Kevin and Zane skipped stones like boys again. Professor Aveline remained closer to Lady Alira that day, walking the orchard paths. "This valley, there's something ageless here," Aveline said, half thinking aloud. Lady Alira smiled gently. "Yes, Valoria's hollow doesn't change with time, it remembers everything." Something in the way she said it made Aveline pause. That evening, the group sat around a bonfire in the garden. Rhea sang a haunting tune in an old language none of them understood. The flames crackled, and the girls twirled scarves in the air like fire spirits. Valina told them stories of the valley's past, of a castle beyond the northern ridge, once ruled by a queen who made a pact with the dead. The boys rolled their eyes. The girls leaned closer. "She used to walk the woods under a crimson moon, calling her lovers back from the grave," Valina said, her eyes gleaming. Serene leaned into Maya. "Sometimes I dream of her. She stands near my bed, whispering." "Don't scare them," Alira called gently, smiling from her chair. But her voice was strained, and in her eyes, something unreadable shimmered. Later that night, as the students returned to their rooms, Lara lingered near the balcony. Across the field, near the edge of the dark woods, she saw someone standing alone. It looked like a girl, but she wasn't moving, just standing, watching. When Lara blinked, the figure was gone. The third day in Valoria's Hollow began as blissfully as the first two. But beneath the beauty something had changed. Subtle, almost unnoticeable, like a thread unraveling at the corner of a tapestry. The morning dew shimmered over the valley meadows. The students, still enchanted by the endless wonders of the land, planned another day of playful adventure. They hiked toward the northern flower cliffs, led by Valina and Kalina, where steep ridges overflowed with wild violet blooms that rustled like whispers in the wind. The girls ran barefoot through the grasses, laughing and singing. Ria plucked a crown of white lilies for Maya, while Serene and Ela picked mountain berries to share with the group. From the cliff top, the view was breathtaking. Layers of soft green hills fading into the horizon, rivers snaking between groves, and birds wheeling lazily in the open sky. Below, a faint fog rolled in from the far side of the ridge. "That fog never reaches the valley," Kalina said absently. "It always stops there, by the northern cemetery." Liam turned. "There's a cemetery here?" Valina nodded, eyes unreadable. "Every valley must bury its dead, right?" she said with a laugh. Back at the rest house, Aveline wandered alone. Her footsteps led her behind the orchard, where moss-covered stones and old trees grew in tangled harmony. There, half hidden under an arch of vines, she found a carved wooden door set into a hill, a root cellar, perhaps. It opened with a creak. Inside, it was dark, dry, and far too clean. Stacked on the shelves were old books, ritual tools, small clay jars sealed with wax. One shelf held nothing but candles, hundreds of them, all unused. Before she could inspect further, Elira appeared at the entrance. "My dear," she said gently, "some doors are best left shut. This is my private space." Aveline apologized and stepped away. Elira smiled, but this time, her smile didn't reach her eyes. Later that afternoon, Jared's drone flew near the North Ridge. The video feed flickered oddly, static, then a sudden black blur, and then nothing. He brought it down confused, but when Kevin reviewed the footage, he froze. "Pause it," he said. On the edge of the frame in the final few seconds stood a girl, pale, dressed in a long, torn white gown. Her eyes were black hollows. "It's just an error. Light distortion," Jared muttered. But Nora said nothing. Her face had gone pale. She'd seen that figure in a dream the night before. That evening, Valina invited the group to an old stone pool near the waterfall. It was a natural hot spring, she said, one the valley had kept secret for centuries. The girls changed into flowing gowns and danced barefoot along the misty edge, splashing their feet. Maya wandered away for a moment to pick blue lilies. That's when she heard it. A voice. A whisper. Calling her name. It was soft and melodic, drifting from the trees near the ridge. She turned, expecting to see Serene or Ria, but no one was there. The voice came again. "Maya!" Goosebumps rose on her arms. Something glinted at the base of the trees. A smooth white pendant lying on the moss. She picked it up and slipped it into her pocket. Later that night, as the fire crackled in the garden, Lara showed a sketch she had made. It was the castle. Large, beautiful, ancient, with tall towers and a cemetery beside it. "But you've never been there," Aveline said. "I know," Lara whispered. "I just saw it in my mind." Alira's hand froze around her wine glass. Near midnight, as the others slept, Aveline sat on the balcony with her journal. She noted every oddity. The untouched rest house, the cellar, the girl in the drone footage, the whispers, the dreams, Lara's sketch, and now, the mention of a castle that none of them had seen, yet somehow knew. She closed the book slowly. The northern ridge was calling, and tomorrow, she would follow it. Morning mist hung low over the valley like a silk veil. The songs of birds were fainter than usual, as though nature itself had paused to hold its breath. Aveline led the students quietly away from the rest house, following a barely visible stone path that twisted toward the northern ridge, the one Valina had subtly warned them about. Strangely, none of the girls from the house, Valina, Serene, Ria, or Kalina, were awake yet. Not even Lady Elira. No one tried to stop them. Isla, ever the logical voice, raised a brow. "We're trespassing." "Then let's not get caught," Ethan grinned. The air grew colder as they climbed. Trees thinned, the fog thickened, and then the group reached it. The cemetery. Rows of ancient white gravestones stretched across a field of soft green moss, each stone polished, floral, and flawless. Bright marigolds and rose vines grew around every grave, too vibrant, too clean, as if freshly tended that very morning. But there were no tools, no footprints, no gardener in sight. "It's like time stops here," Nora whispered, her fingers brushing a stone carved with a forgotten name. Elriath, the Beloved. 1712 to 1769. Past the cemetery stood the castle. It rose from the earth like a preserved relic of a forgotten age. Tall towers, glassless windows, black slate roofs, and white stone walls wrapped in ivy. The gates were open. Lara clutched her sketchbook. This is it, from my dream. Aveline pushed the gate open. It didn't creak. It didn't resist. The metal was warm to the touch. Inside, the group stepped into a large main hall, dust-free, stone floors gleaming, velvet curtains unweathered by time, tables set with china and goblets, tapestries hung like they had just been stitched. Is this a museum? Liam asked. No signs of visitors? Isla muttered. No ticket booth, no modern wiring, no dust. Aveline turned to Jared. No signal? Dead, he confirmed, checking his phone. Just like everywhere else. They split up to explore. The castle swallowed them with open arms. Maya wandered into a music chamber. A grand piano sat gleaming under stained glass. She touched a single key. It played. But behind the sound, she heard a second key press, one she hadn't touched. She turned sharply. No one was there. But in the reflection of the polished piano lid, she saw someone walk past the doorway. A woman in a white dress, pale, silent. Liam, Lara, and Tasha explored the upper corridor. They found portraits of noble women, regal, beautiful, with sharp eyes and glowing skin. One of them looked eerily like Professor Aveline. She could be your ancestor, Lara said. Aveline's face tensed. It's not impossible, she said after a long pause. My family has roots in this region, but records were lost after the 1800s. Tasha read the golden plaque below the painting. Vivian Ross, Guardian of the Hollow. Down in the dining hall, Zane and Kevin found a feast. Roasted meats, fruit trays, and still steaming bread. But the moment Kevin reached out to touch a loaf, the entire table vanished. The room stood empty. No food, no plates, no cloth. Just a cold, stone table. Kevin stepped back in shock. Did you see? I saw it, Zane muttered. It was real, until it wasn't. The group regrouped in the foyer, pale-faced and shaken. I don't think we should be here anymore, Maya whispered. Then they realized. Valina was gone. She was just with me, Ethan said, confused. Outside the garden when we left the house. She must have followed us, said Lara. They split up to search the castle again, calling her name. Nothing. No voice returned. But then Maya screamed. They rushed to her in the music room. She pointed at the pot mirror above the fireplace. The surface had fogged up, as if someone had breathed on it. Across the misted glass, written by an unseen hand, were 3 chilling words. The blood sleeps. That night, back at the rest house, the group sat in silence. Alira served tea, but none of them touched it. Valina didn't come home, Aveline said quietly. Alira looked at her, eyes calm but unreadable. Sometimes the valley asks for something back. The room froze. What does that mean? Zane demanded, but Alira only smiled and walked away. End of chapter 4. Next chapter 5, the first night. Strange noises fill the night. Someone walks the halls barefoot. One student vanishes. Another is found. Changed. And the castle doors open again on their own. Blood will touch Valoria's hollow once more.
The valley welcomed them with beauty, but beauty can be a disguise. Deep beneath the quiet meadows and the scent of wildflowers, something ancient has begun to stir. The castle's perfect silence isn't peace, it's a warning, and the smiles they trusted may not be human at all. As the sun sets behind the mountains, the air grows colder, and not everyone who entered this valley will leave untouched. The shadows are watching. The queen is waking. To be continued.